Hello my scrappy friends and welcome back to my channel again today. Another share for Anna's Craft Cupboard, and I'm playing with the Bella Boulevard Squeeze the Day collection. And this is the page I've created. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was, I love the bright colours, and yes. So I've got this older photo of my oldest boy. He went through a stage where he was eating fruit after Vegemite sandwiches, and we tried lots and lots of different fruit. And so I snapped this photo of him because he just looks so cute with the fruit all over his face. So I pulled that out when I saw I had this collection and was like, yes, I'm going to use this fruit salad paper with it because it's cute. And so that's what I'm doing. I started with some white cardstock and you saw me apply some clear gesso to that. I'm going to tear some strips of some pattern papers for along the left hand side. I'm starting with that pattern, which is called Fruit Salad. And then I'm going to use some of this orange, and this is from the Borders pattern paper. Just trimming off that branding strip first and just tearing. And then I use one other pattern paper, and it's called Lemon Fresh. It's the black with the lemons all over it. And I use the other side is white with a black text. And I decided I wanted to use both sides of this, so I'm going to cut off a chunk and then tear it straight down the middle. And I've got my two strips of the pattern. I'm going to line those up on the left hand side in a way that I like. I'm just trying to see how I want the patterns to go. I think that's how I end up with them. And I'm just going to roughly take these together. I'm not permanently sticking them down because I knew I wanted to do some messy stuff in the background, hence why I used gesso on the background. So I'm just lining those up, making sure they're reasonably straight so I get a good idea of where they're going to be and how much of the page they're going to take up. There's no point doing mixed media behind where they're going to sit. So I decided I wanted that more on the one third line, so I've shoved that over a little bit. I'm going to grab my pencil and mark where that line is. And so I mucked around for a little while trying to pick colours, and then I pulled out this Bella Pop with the rainbow on it, and I decided to use the colours from that particular rainbow. Now I'm going to go pink, which is picked raspberry. Then I'm going to go yellow, which that is wild honey, and then the orange is carved pumpkin. I didn't want to make muddy colours, so I'm doing the warmer colours first. You can see I've swiped my ink pad along the paper, and then I've activated that with water. I'm going to go back in with a couple of other colours. That yellow is mustard seed, and I've gone back in with more of the picked raspberry as well, and you can see I'm just using a bit more water and moving the page around, getting that colour to run a bit, soaking up where there's too much water, drying it off, adding more colour. And I have sped this up a fair bit for you because it's repetitive more than anything, but this way you get a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. Bring in a paintbrush at one point, then I'm going to work on my cooler tones. The green is, where is it written? Lucky Clover, and then the blue is Tumbled Glass. The green is not the best match in the world. It's more of a, if you know your distress colours, it's more of a peeled paint kind of green that's in this collection. But I don't have that in the Oxide ink pad, so I thought I'd give this a go and see how it went. I'm going to dry that off, and then I'm going to come back in with some more colours. This is a grey, and I think it's, I didn't write it down. If you need to know the grey, let me know, and I can find out for you. And this is a better match, though it's still not fantastic. So I'm going to come in again with another colour after this is dried. I didn't want to put my ink pad onto the wet and activate that oxide ink, so that's why I'm drying it off in between. Ground Espresso is the colour I've just put on there, and then this gives me a much closer match to the green in the collection, though it's still, again, not 100%. But if you've got the peeled paint, that would be my suggestion, and that's what I use for splatters. And then I'm going to come back in with a little bit more of the blue. Again, that's the tumbled glass, just adding some water. I'm pretty sure I'm going to come in with a paintbrush here and just get that colour moving a bit more. So once I had this idea in my head, I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with this page. I just knew I wanted the rainbow of colour with those papers on the left hand side and my photo tacked into the pattern paper strips. So I'm just drying that off, and I am going to add some more pink. Felt like the pink wasn't quite bold enough, so just add some more of that in. Again, go back in with my paintbrush. This is just a watercolor brush. Love this thing. Adding a bit more water, letting that run back and forward. Drying that off. I'm going to do some stamping. So I'll put out a couple of word phrase stamps from my stash. Anything would work for this, anything at all. Patterns, words, whatever you want to use, whatever you have available in your stash. I use these, there's two sets here because of the different fonts that are in it. And so I'm just going back in over the colours that with the colours I've already used, and I'm stamping pink on pink, yellow on yellow, and all the way down. And just randomly spacing the words out and trying to mix up the different fonts. So I've got like one of each different type of font in each colour. I think I leave this whole process in for you, but it is super sped up. But I thought that you might like to see. Let me know in the comments though, do you like to see the whole process like this, or would you rather I just showed you a little bit and skip forward? I use the mustard seed to do the stamping on the yellow. I know I used a couple of different colours on there. The orange, I've used the same colour, which is carved pumpkin. I can't speak apparently. And then you see me do the green, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so wrong. No, actually I start with the grey. And I'm like, that's way too grey. That's iced spruce. And I'm like, that's way too grey. And then I've gone in with this colour, which is the Lucky Clover, which is obviously much better because that's the base colour I've got there. But it's still a bit bright, but I'm just going to roll with it. And in the end, it doesn't matter because I end up covering up almost all of the green. Spoiler alert. So I'm just going in, doing all of the different colours, and I really like the extra texture it gives without adding more colour to the page. This blue is such a pretty colour. I love it. Now, because these are the oxide inks, they do take quite a little while to dry. I never even tried to let them air dry. I was eager to get on with my page. So I do take my heat gun to it. I think I do my splatters before I do that, but I'm not sure. It's a metal page, it's got splatters. Stamping my last couple of words out. Pulling out. So I'm going to dry that off. And you can see I have taped down the right hand side of my page. It was curling up. I don't want my splatters to run. So I've taped that down, and I'm going to start here with the mustard seed. And you can see I'm just smushing some onto my mat, watering it down and splattering it. For the pink and the orange, I think I had the oxide sprays. No, for pink and the green I used the peel paint, but everything else I smushed the ink pad and activated it with water. I'm really happy with this background. I really love it. So I'm putting my layers together properly, making sure they're all straight, how I want them, and I'm going to stick that to my background. And somehow something is not exactly 12 by 12, so I pull out my trimmer and trim that down so it is exactly 12 by 12. I love this trimmer. Love it. I've got this one for my birthday. Oh, and I've got to, firstly I've got to trim that extra strip off the left-hand side, which is the fruit salad paper. And then here, somehow my strips, I don't know. Yeah, so this paper trimmer is awesome. I really like it. It's taken me a little while to get used to it, trying to work out exactly where to cut, but I really like it. I'm going to put my photo in between the fruit salad paper and the orange paper. I think I try it in a couple of other places before I get to sticking it down. But I wanted to add a bit more texture, so I've come in with my distressing tool, and I'm just distressing the edges of those papers. And at this point I decided that I really wanted some extra dimension there. So you'll see me do that, I think, next. Yeah. So I grab this foam, I cut it into strips, and then I'm going to tuck that under each of those pattern papers, and I'm going to come back in with some wet glue. So one side is sticky, the other side is not. Pop those in there and then come back in with some wet glue. You can see I've glued the top ones and I'm just gluing the bottom ones. I'm going to put another container on those bottom ones and then pop this whole background over to the side to dry. And I'm back, it's all dry. I've got some foam on the back of my photo, I think. You can see I started building my title on the left hand side there. And then I started with, I've got some ephemera pieces, I've got some stickers from the Doohickey sticker sheet, I've got some of the Bella pops, and so I'm just building a bit of a cluster to the right hand side of my photo, and I've got that label there, and I'm kind of going, what am I going to do with the label? Is that enough room for journaling? I don't know. So I'm like, what else can I add? I'm kind of thinking that I want to add something more, so I try the different coloured ephemera pieces on the different colours, and then I'm like, nope, I don't like that. I'll try these flowers, and then I'm like, nope, I don't like that. And I'm like, what can I change here? I'm not loving this. I really wanted to get those cherries on. So I pull out all the hearts next, and I'm pretty sure I pull out all of the hearts in this collection. I put those stickers in and decided I didn't like them. You can see me flicking through that ephemera pack. So I'm going to see if I can get these hearts in. I tuck a couple. I'm like, I need another pop of black. So I've got that black strip right down the middle almost. I've got the black tag. I do have the outline of that label is black, but I felt like I needed another black pop somewhere, so I'm going to try that. I had that border sticker in and didn't like it, so that came off. Trying a couple more hearts. I'm like, what am I not loving about this? Something isn't right. Like, okay, I'm going to move my title. Again, I don't make you watch all of that. And who picked up my spelling mistake? Vegemite has an extra E in the middle, not an I. So I came back, I've stuck everything down how I had it. I have created my title, Fruit and Vegemite Lunches. I've pulled some alphas from my stash, so the little ones that say and Vegemite are white with black polka dots, and then the lunches is a black set from my stash, and I thought that brought the black nicely down the page. My final touch is adding some black splatters again. I just felt like I needed to move that black around a little bit more. I've added my journaling right down underneath my title there, and it just says what I said before about his favourite lunches at this particular point in his life, and somehow he managed to get it all over his face. Here are my close-ups. I really love how this came out. I love the bright colours. If you've been following me for a little while, you know I love colour. And it's just a cute photo of my boy. I can't believe that he is 10 next year. I will make sure I link everything in the description box below. If you have any questions, please, please, please leave them below. If you just want to say hi, please say hi. I will be back again soon with another share. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome if you're a newbie, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for stopping by.